look here in the parking lot. It's absolutely stunning. Classic Ford. Wow, I don't know what kind of model this is, but that's beautiful. And it is in gorgeous condition. But there it is. The thing we're here to see today, the Battleship Iowa. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Robert from ThrillRide.com. How you doing? So today I'm down here in San Pedro, California on the coast to check out what you see behind me. A legendary piece of military equipment, the USS Iowa. This is a battleship that was commissioned in 1943 and served in World War II, the Korean War, and the Cold War, I believe, and also under 3 presidents, which earned it the nickname of Battleship of Presidents and Big Stick. So apparently a very effective tool of military technology. And you know, I went on that cruise about a month and a half back. It was my first time on a cruise ship, and just kind of very interested in all things nautical these days. And this is right here, and it's an amazing, amazing ship. So really interested in going inside and taking a look around. Here we go, heading up the gangway. Wow. Yeah, those are some big guns. I would not want those pointed at me. Awesome. Here's some interesting, helpful stats. 887 feet long, 108 feet beam. That's the width of the ship. 37-foot draft below water at full load. Interesting. 57,500 displacement tons full load. Look at that. 16-inch gun armored turrets. Each 16-inch turret's rotating weight is 2,000 tons with ammunition, as much as a World War II destroyer. Yeah, that's why they call it the Big Stick. Couldn't have picked a more beautiful day to be here. Sunny, breeze blowing. It's always cooler by the water too, but yeah, just fantastic. Again, would not want to be on the business end of these weapons. And look at the thickness of these ropes. Wow. There's my hand for scale comparison. These are big ropes. That's impressive. I think a lot of what we're going to see today is very well categorized as impressive. Oh my goodness, yeah. That is rope, all right. And there's the bow of the ship. This is as far as we can go, but it's pretty cool. And I love the colorful nautical flags. I know these are used for all kinds of signaling purposes and messaging. I have no idea how to read semaphore flags, but it's a very bright, colorful tool amidst all this grayness of the ship. And you can't knock the spectacular location here down in the port of Los Angeles, I guess, or Long Beach. Pretty beautiful, even with the little morning haze. This is awesome. And look at that. There's the view heading out to sea. There you go, 2 anchors carried on the bow, port and starboard, each weighing 30,000 pounds. That's insane. I'm not sure what this photo represents, some sort of a naval canine officer. But this is cool to look down the hatch. It takes you down to the ship. All right, so you just follow the arrows around the ship, and apparently we're going to be indoors and outdoors. Oh, just amazing. And look at this giant cargo ship getting towed in. Wow, so cool. Well, there we go, the shell game, ballistics Iowa style. So cool. Oh wow, yeah. There's that cargo ship cruising right by. Amazing. walking along the port side of the boat, and it looks like we're about to head inside. All right. Aha! To the wardroom. All right. So this is the officer's wardroom main deck. Officer's wardroom was a dining hall as well as a place to relax and socialize. And there are some photos of the dining hall ready to serve a meal. And a shot of the boat after her first commissioning. Camouflage measure 22. Wow. Yeah, there it is. Winning a total of 9 battle stars during her World War II service. Well done. And I guess the ship had more than one commissioning. There was a third to offset the growing Soviet Union naval threat during the Cold War. Wow. Huh. All World War II anti-aircraft guns have been removed, plus 4 twin 5-inch gun mounts aft to make room for more modern cruise missiles. Huh. This is neat. Behind the tables, they've got a big world map that shows all the different voyages the ship took during its career. Yeah, it looks like pretty much every continent on Earth except the poles got a visit from this boat. Look at this photo of the ship firing what looked like all its main weapons off the side, and the kind of shock wave in the water that causes. Ugh, incredible. And I love this display case of the various flatware, silverware, and table setting equipment used for dining here. Oh, this is great. Look at this, an old menu. Christmas 1951. Continuing to head through the ship. Oh, wow. There's some old school technology, and looking into another kind of, what do they call these, bulkheads? I don't know, but yeah, those are some pretty heavy duty steel doors. There's a little stairway to an upper deck closed off, but let me tell you, it's pretty close quarters in here. I don't think this ceiling is much higher than about, I don't know, 6 feet. I'm 5'9", and I'm feeling pretty tall in here. Yeah, a little like a submarine. Definitely more expansive than that, but not a lot of wasted space in here. Oh, neat. Oh, wow. Okay, this looks like crew quarters of some kind. You can see the cot back there and all kinds of shelving. Oh, yeah. There's another cabin with somebody's freshly laundered uniform hanging there ready to go. Aha, it is a senior officer's stateroom, the commander of the ship being here. Wow, not very luxurious. All right, here we are at the officer's head, and I guess the decontamination station exit. Hope nobody had to use that too often, but yeah, there's the commodes, and you got your shower stalls in there, and of course a metal sink. Yeah, fairly Spartan, but enough to get the job done. And this is pretty neat. Shows you the compartment, the division responsibility, compartment cleaner, and petty officer in charge. Looks like Petty Officer Arbuckle was the last to have that responsibility. Right turn here. All right, I guess we go straight ahead. Oh, and there's a little branch down here. Let's see what's in here. Oh, it looks like another cabin. Yeah. What do we got? Chessboard set up there to play. Slightly more spacious bed, and this officer has a sink in their cabin. So I'm imagining this is for a more senior officer, perhaps? Yeah. Continuing on, ooh, look at this. A gunpowder canister hatch. Wow, the Iowa's crew would cart 16-inch gunpowder storage canisters to this deck, which was lowered 4 decks below. Wow. So I guess that went down there. Crazy. Yeah. There's the winch up here that would have been used to lower them down. Cool. So it looks like it may be at the captain's quarters? Yeah. Could be. There we go. Lieutenant Martin D. Norton Jr. helps blast Japanese ships off Savo, or Savo. Interesting. Yeah. Well, if this is indeed the captain's quarters, this is probably as luxurious as it gets. All right, heading back outside. Oh, yeah. That view does not get old. All right, nice. Looks like we're gonna head upstairs. Before we go, it looks like there is a sign here indicating when Turret 2 took an enemy hit during the bombardment of Millie Atoll while Iowa was supporting the Marshall Islands campaign. The ship received her first hits in combat when she was struck by 2 projectiles from a Japanese shore battery. And here we go, heading upstairs.
Very thick, 14 inches.
Oh, wow. I guess these are called the big metal mushrooms. So there are retired veterans who lead these kind of tours, and just overheard one of them very kindly explain these big mushroom devices are actually vents. These ships were not air conditioned, and they got pretty toasty below deck. So when the ship was moving, they'd open these up and it would force cool air down into the bowels of the ship to offer a little relief. But he also said when the ship was not engaged in battle during some particularly hot spells, officers would bring their cots up here and just sleep on the deck because it was so warm downstairs. Ooh, okay, here we go. The captain's in port quarters. So I guess when not at sea, yeah, a little more luxurious and cozy. We can't go in, but got a nice look in there. Very comfortable couch and a dining area. It looks like a fireplace back there too. I wonder if that's functional. And of course they have an app for that. And here's a memorial for a rather sadly large group of sailors who lost their lives during a turret explosion that took place on April 19th, 1989, and apparently this was not a wartime accident. While the Battleship Iowa was conducting peacetime gunnery drills off the coast of Puerto Rico, an explosion occurred in Turret 2. The gun crew was preparing to fire the center gun, and the breech was still open when its powder bags prematurely ignited. Oh, good grief. Yeah. I'll tell you, man, operating these ships is serious business. I love these hatches and very simple kind of rods extended so people could access every part of the ship. Just crawling around on all the outer surfaces. So great. Well, I'm certainly familiar with the expression 21 gun salute, but I'm learning a lot more now about that tradition. So this is a 40mm saluting gun used aboard Iowa with blanks for ceremonial salutes. 21 gun salute is most commonly recognized of the customary gun salutes that are performed by the firing of cannons or artillery as a military honor. A 19 gun salute may be fired in honor of dignitaries such as the Vice President, Speaker of the House, etc., etc., etc. All right, heading up to another deck. Higher and higher. Wow. Yeah, right underneath these pair of guns here. Incredible. I love the sound of the flags kind of flapping in the breeze. It's like they staged the weather for today. It's really quite perfect. And of course, you got to keep the ship shape. And I guess this is where cleaning devices like mops and brooms were stored for easy access on the deck. That's great. Aha. All right, now we got looks like a helpful graphic to explain how to read signal flags. Look at that. Iowa's call sign, NEPM. It doesn't spell Iowa, but other ships will know who's there. Oh, and there we go. Bravo Zulu. Job well done. Congratulations. All right, so I guess we're on the signal deck, if I'm reading the message correctly there. All right, keep heading around the side of the ship. Oh, wow. I have no idea what purpose this device serves. It's pretty cool. All right, moving in. Level 3, the flag bridge. Oh yeah, here we go. 3-level bridge, the armored conning tower. Iowa was fitted as a task force flagship, while their 3 sister ships, the New Jersey, the Missouri, and the Wisconsin, were completed as division flagships. Interesting. All right, moving forward. Heading into the armored conning tower itself. And the bridge. All right. The armored conning tower running through the center of the bridge is constructed of, again, 17.3-inch thickness of Class A armor. The helmsman steering the ship and commanding officers were protected from enemy fire after the hatches were cranked closed. Nice. That's pretty cool. And look at the technology packed into this corridor. Wow. Wires and junction boxes and all kinds of devices. That's incredible. Wow, here it is. Yeah, it sure looks like this is where the bridge, or rather this is the bridge where the ship was piloted. Neat. That is pretty well protected. Yeah. So if I'm understanding this correctly, this is the thickness of the wall. That is solid steel. Holy moly. Oh, neat. Yeah, here we are. Amazing. So I guess this is where a lot of the crew would be piloting the ship when not under military operations. Yeah, port service harbor pilot. Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, and here is the kind of slit in the steel wall for the crewmen to look out, actually get a straight ahead look at the view dead ahead. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that is pretty incredible. So this is a range azimuth indicator radar repeater. I have no idea what those words mean.
You hit the right button, we'll take off.
No, it starts to move, you know who's responsible.
And just look at this mass of
Well, that's why they're
wiring
packed usually and look
running through here. Oh, so complex. Can you imagine trying to find a short in these wires? Oh, this is something I remember from so many World War II movies, you know, on submarines and ships, when one part of the ship would need to contact another, and they would crank this little thing here, pick the room they wanted to communicate with, and then pick up the handset to do so. Old school, but it worked. Oh, here's another doorway into the very well protected bridge. You can see more of the gear in there. Look at that, and there's the ship's wheel. Very, very cool. Look at that, you got a classic Navy bell up there. Yeah, that's legit. Oh, wow. It looks like some kind of microphone for making deck-wide announcements, perhaps. Yeah, anybody who was a fan of vintage electronics would get a kick out of this ship. It is loaded with it. Okay, heading back outside and up another deck. There we go. There you go, something called a shaft revolution indicator system. That is a set of gauges I have never seen on any other vehicle before. And this is a gyro compass, the ship's course indicator, gimbal ring, and bracket. Oh yeah, you can even tilt this thing back and forth. Neat. So it looks like all of this up front here is part of the AN/SLQ-32V3 Electronic Warfare Cruise Missile Defense. The SLIC-32 is an electronic suite that provides support and countermeasure protections against incoming missiles, still used by the U.S. Navy. Yeah, it looks like we can't advance up to this little deck from here, but this is the Phalanx CIWS Cruise Missile Defense. All right, so here it is on the other side of the ship as well, the Cruise Missile Defense. And it says that during the 1984 modernization, Iowa had 4 Mark 15 Phalanx Close Inboard Weapons Systems Block 0 mounts installed. Oh, wow. And now we're coming up on the SRBOC Missile Defense. Super Rapid Blooming Off-Shift Chaff. Short-range mortar that launches chaff or infrared decoys to confuse attacking missiles. Yeah, I guess these things just put a bunch of distractive material in the air, and that's what throws off the incoming missiles. Wow, look at that. It's funny, this kind of defense technology reminds me a little bit of the end of The Last Starfighter, when he goes into, what is it, the death bloom, spinning around and firing in all directions. Amazing. So I guess these are the Harpoon missile launchers, and I love that back here there are these gigantic steel plates to catch the the blowback from the launch. That's crazy. 16 AGM-84 Harpoon missiles were added to Iowa during her modernization in 1983. The missiles were carried and launched in 4 quad Kevlar armored tubes called canister missile launchers. Wow. Here's a look at the Harpoon cruise missile launchers on the other side of the ship in the sun. Yeah, and this is one of those missiles in the flesh, in the steel flesh, as it were. Wow. So we're looking at the 16-inch main gun Mark 38 stereoscopic rangefinder directors. There's a mouthful for you. The 16-inch main gun Mark 38 stereoscopic rangefinder directors are located on top of the forward superstructure tower. On the top of the aft tower, their function was ranging and spotting the fall of the shells and then sending this information to the 2 battery plot fire control rooms. And here in front of that kind of rangefinder device are Tomahawk missile launchers. I guess these big metal containers are opened up and then raised into position to fire, I think. Yeah, so on the other side, they've got the doors on the back of these Tomahawk missile launchers open, and sure enough, yeah, it looks like they held 4 artillery shells in each one of these things. Look at that, the lubrication diagram for the armored box launcher. Yeah, gotta keep all the gears greased and ready for action. So this is a 5-inch 38 caliber twin mount set of guns, and we can take a look inside this amazing upper handling control room. And we can't go in too far, but here's a diagram of all the different chambers inside, and just take a quick peek. Look at that. Oh, neat. Oh, and you can see a little bit up there with that orange light, the gears that are used to turn the gun assembly to aim. Wow, neat. Oh, and it smells very kind of old and mechanically musty in here. That's neat. And of course you can see there in the corner, look at the size of those shells. Wow. Yeah, just kind of zoomed in for a closer look at the gears. And I love the beautiful kind of brass finish on those giant wheels to turn. And again, there are those artillery shells. That's some big boom boom. Oh yeah, and you can see it goes on way in there. Yeah, it's pretty toasty too. I can understand why those mushrooms were so much in use when the ship was at sea. It's hot. All right, heading back inside. I think I overheard someone say, this looks like where the enlisted officers bunked up. Yeah, here we go. Enlisted berthing from 1943 to 1990. Yeah, not quite as luxurious as the senior officers' quarters. They stacked them 3 high in here. And you got the gear lockers. And I wonder where this giant hatch leads. Yeah, interesting.
Springs, they were on chains. You had a pole with a rocker on the other. You push it up, and then somebody would tie the racks up to the bulkhead.
I always liked it when you had a rack that was pouring out, because it would rock you back and sleep back and forth like a baby in a cradle. But if the seas got rough, we had this little seat belt here where we could put this up, and this was supposed to keep you from rolling out of your rack.
Yeah, at least they had these kind of blue curtains they could draw across the bed for a little bit of privacy. That's something. Here's some neat historical photos of the ship, including its looks like final construction of the shipyard there in the lower right. Largest launching weight in U.S. history and believed in the world at that point in time, weighing in at approximately 39,000 tons. Yeah, that's a big boat. And there we go. Came out of the Navy Yard in New York on August 27, 1942. All right, here's that adorable little poochie. Iowa mascot, first class victory, Vicky, from March 1943 to 1949. Good girl. And I guess there's the traditional Navy definition of plank owner. Vicky was part of Iowa's first commissioning crew, and therefore a plank owner. President Roosevelt had him stay with him on the captain's cabin as he crossed the Atlantic on the USS Iowa to the Tehran conference. I said good girl. I guess Vicky is a boy. So good boy. I love this. These are the ingredients you need to feed beef stew to 2,500 people. To start with 630 pounds of boneless beef. And go from there. That's one meal. Wow. Looks like here's where a lot of the dishes and cooking utensils were cleaned, and of course, no smoking or tobacco chewing, please. It says food service equipment in the 40s was clever, effective, and somewhat mystifying to operate. Even so, thousands of sailors enjoyed an array of baked goods made fresh daily into space. So I'm guessing this is the big dough mixer. That looks like it could be, God, 100 years old. That's crazy. Look at that. And I love this kind of etching on the side of the metal. Nice. Look at that, the big stick enlisted mess. Oh, and they put the menu up for every day. And how much food does it take to fuel a battleship crew? Iowa's food storerooms hold 100 tons of fresh fruit and vegetables, 84 tons of frozen meats, 650 tons of dry stores, 834 tons of food, sufficient to last 119 days all total. Wow. 2,500 men consume 7 tons of food a day, 1.5 tons of fresh foods, 2 tons of frozen, and 3.5 tons dry. That is a lot of eating. All right, moving into another section of the mess hall. Okay, that startled me a little. And we got a couple of servicemen ready to throw some chow down for us. We got mac and cheese, French fries, corn on the cob, some kind of corn and bean stew, slices of ham, biscuits. I'm getting hungry. Kind of wish they did serve lunch here. Oh, and here you go. This is the actual mess hall itself. Once those trays were loaded, let's settle in here and begin consuming mass quantities. I don't know, for some reason I'm just imagining sitting in here, a whole bunch of people enjoying a nice meal, and all of a sudden those klaxons go off. And it's time to hit battle stations, and everybody just flies up and starts doing what they know they're supposed to do. Well, this makes sense. Yeah, there were definitely more than one mess compartment, so Yeah, this is just one part of the ship where the crew got to eat. Okay, oh, heading into a little more of a kind of traditional museum display. Nice. All right, so this Iowa is actually one of 4 Iowa named Battleship, and I guess the BB-4 was the first such boat. Fire and turret 2. Yeah, just another reminder that even when you're not at war, these ships can be quite hazardous. You really have to know what you're doing to become a part of these crews. So here's a whole section devoted to the turret explosion that killed those 47 service people. Wow, and this is a damaged hatch cover recovered from Iowa's turret 2. There's a fan motor controller. Yeah, that definitely took some heavy damage. And there's all kinds of information about the history of sailing and the ironclads from I think the Civil War when these were introduced, the first sort of steel protected battleships. So after the Civil War ironclads, there was a series of ships called pre-dreadnoughts built in the 1880s to 1905. There's a fact I just learned for the first time. So the dreadnought era was kicked off by the launch of the Royal Navy's HMS Dreadnought, launched in 1906, christened by King Edward VII with the motto, "Fear God and Dread Naught," thus naming the entire class. Awesome. Soon other nations were building their own dreadnoughts with earlier battleships referred to as pre-dreadnoughts. And so the dreadnought design had 2 revolutionary features: an all-big gun armament scheme and steam turbine propulsion. How do you like that? So the Battleship Iowa presents Lost at Sea, the explorations of Dr. Robert Ballard, discoverer of the RMS Titanic. So Commander William Thomas Turner was the captain of the Lusitania when it was sunk by a German torpedo in 1915, and he went down with the ship but survived and was rescued. And here's a 1/200 scale model of the HMS Hood built by Tom Crane. Oh, and here's a model of the German's KM Bismarck. Yeah, again, if you're a fan of model building too, I would very much recommend this whole tour. Pretty nice little collection of naval models. This is amazing, and it looks like a piece of the ship itself supports the monitor and the photograph. Neat. Yeah, they actually officially call this attraction the Battleship Iowa Museum, and I didn't realize it had kind of an extensive exhibition collection beyond just the ship itself. Very neat. So if you want to kind of refresh your knowledge of naval campaigns and history, tragedies, etc., it's a good place to do it. So this is a part of the ocean that they call Iron Bottom Sound, where upwards of 50 ships and planes sank during the Battle of Guadalcanal. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had no idea the scale of that battle was quite so huge. Amazing. Yeah, and sure enough, there it is, the model of the PT-109 and a special edition G.I. Joe of John F. Kennedy, who was famously the PT-109 boat commander. I had no idea they issued a special action figure in honor of the former president. And here's some details explaining the research ship Nautilus, Corps of Exploration's flagship vessel, one of only 2 dedicated ships of exploration in the world. This is pretty cool. I think this is meant to be a kind of a display of one of the little remote exploration vehicles launched from the Nautilus, kind of making its way through a shipwreck. And see the little plastic octopus up on the pipe there. That's great. Oh, this is really neat. On April 2015 in the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of Louisiana, At a depth of nearly 2,000 feet, ROV Hercules encountered a magnificent sperm whale. The whale circled Hercules several times and gave Nautilus cameras the chance to capture some of the incredible footage of this beautiful creature. Wow, yeah, this just goes on and on. Oh, here's the print shop. A little onboard printing company to, I guess, produce flyers and any other kind of communication pieces. Oh, right, they had a little onboard magazine. Yeah, I think I saw one of those issues posted earlier. Look at these giant clothes presses. Yeah, here is where laundry was handled, dry cleaning and tailoring. Gotta keep those uniforms crisp and sharp. Neat. I guess this was a pretty noisy part of the ship when in full operation. Yeah, look at the size of these laundry machines. And a giant steam-heated flatwork iron. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, the scale of every little chore that had to be handled on the ship. Pretty amazing. Oh man, and it just keeps going on and on. Here's some more laundry equipment. Oh man, and I gotta believe these were running almost non-stop when the ship was at sea. That is crazy. So this is the Blue Box Dynawash 100-pound capacity washer. That's a lot of clothes. Yeah, here's the one part of the ship you hope you didn't spend much time in, the brig. Yeah. You do the crime, you do the time down here. And here is the tailor shop. Any kinds of rips or tears in your uniform, where they come take care of that. Oh, and the barber shop, look at that. Yeah, they got the nice big barber pole in here. Wow. Yeah, you gotta have this at sea too, right? Yeah, there you go. Nearly 500 feet of the ship's whole length was encased in thick armor. 12.1-inch thick main armor belt surrounding the ship is sloped at a 19-degree angle, so it provided the equivalent protection of 13.5 inches of armor. Wow, here's a quick look at early naval aviation. Cloth, wood, and invention. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is the earliest known prequel photo from Top Gun, the beginning. That is the original Iowa ship bell from 1943. And yeah, I bet that weighs a good bit. And also makes quite the noise when struck. Neat. Yeah, sure enough, here there is plenty of interesting merch. Clothes, patches, books, carry-alls, even ice cream. But yeah, every purchase here helps support the upkeep and maintenance of the ship. And here's a type of helicopter I was not aware before. It's a twin-rotor Hup Retriever, just generally used to transport people on and off the ship and as a rescue vehicle. Nice. And in honor of that first mascot, they've got a nice little snack stand, Vicky's Doghouse. That is cute. And I think that is going to bring this one to a close. So, as always, thank you so much for coming along and taking a look around this very impressive piece of naval history, military history, and U.S. history. Fascinating. I learned so much more than I was expecting, and it's a really neat way to spend a couple hours down here on the coast. An absolutely lovely Saturday morning. All right, take care, and we will catch you in the next one. Well, here's a nice little epilogue to the tour. And of course, the U.S. Navy battleship era lasted almost 100 years. And in that service time, no USN battleship was sunk by enemy action at sea. That is an incredible record. Amazing. The 3 battleships lost at Pearl Harbor and the U.S. Maine from internal explosions, but not during active maritime battles. Wow.